A man who can talk to dogs, a girl who can transport, blah, blah, blah. A man who can talk to dogs, a girl who can essentially mystique, and the boy who uses tattoos for powers. That's it.
I'm sorry. Fire.
Yeah.
So, what's going on, everybody? I'm Lloyd.
And I'm Tasha with Midnight Comics, and welcome back to another episode of What We're Reading. So before we get started, if you don't know what we're reading is, it's a show where we give you our indie comic book recommendations. We talk about books that we're reading in hopes that you will also pick those books up. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and leave a comment below when you're finished to let us know what you think about the stories that we talk about. Also, you can go to our website, midnightcomics.org, and join the Countdown to Midnight, which is our group that works essentially like a Patreon, and you can get early access to all kinds of awesome things.
And today we've got an anthology series for you guys from Blacktooth Publishing.
Yes.
3 different stories, 3 really good stories.
Yes, and it's called Blacktooth Battalion.
But yes, we're going to start with the cover. So, this is their anthology
here's
series.
a question though. Are we going to start with this cover?
Yes, because that's what
Or are we going to start with this cover?
We're going to get to it. So, because there's the cover on the front, and then there's going to be a cover for each story.
Of course.
So, honestly, me personally, the initial cover for the anthology is okay, right? It's not anything extra, but the covers on the interior for the individual stories, that takes the cake.
So
the
first
colors that I'm
talking
looking
about-
for it to pop, let's talk about Dogpile.
So let's talk about Dogpile.
So yeah, as you guys know, I've said previously, I'm a stickler for wraparound covers, but I'm also a stickler for an entire story
that
being
tells
told
story.
right on the cover. So I get that sense from that initial cover for Dogpile proper. Again, he's jumping to action. That means if there's trouble, you know he's gonna insert himself into the situation, do what needs to be done.
And his
to
canine
help.
friends are right there.
And his
to back him
canine
up.
hands are right there. Friends are there to back him up. So
Next
like,
cover up is for Adastra,
yes,
which I just like the name. The cover is nice. Like it is another one that's just like, it's just the character, but you kind of see her personality
You do see
in the
personality,
cover. Like
yeah.
you can tell that she's, it's the word they use on Bluey all the time. She's cheeky. Like we watch entirely too much Bluey, but yeah, she's a bit cheeky, maybe mischievous at times. She's she's a high school girl.
Yeah.
She's going through high school girl things, and even the story, it's like she has this power to shapeshift, but it's literally just high school girl drama, and in a good way. Like it's funny. So like the cover really, it doesn't tell you the story per se, but it tells you about the character. It's got nice colors. It's very simple. It's
bright,
nothing
vibrant,
super awesome, but it's nothing bad. It's just nice.
yeah,
The last cover, Snakebite.
yes,
I like the colors and I like the lighting.
yeah.
The lighting in the background. It really emphasizes the feel of it all.
Yeah. And he looks like he's looking out for people. He's doing what needs to be done. He's by himself. It almost feels isolated in a sense as well. So I do get that from the cover, where he's gonna have to go to some dark places, right? So you see him looking down in between these buildings. It's darker, the sun's setting, all that other stuff. So you get a sense again of what's going to be happening. He's not standing on the stoop heroically Superman style, right? But you definitely get that. Yeah, I'm gonna handle business and do what needs to be done. So yeah. It's a pretty decent cover, and I definitely like that again. But I think out of the 3, my favorite cover has got to be out of the 3.
Dogpile.
I didn't even include the 4th one. I'm sorry, but out of the 4, Dogpile is probably my favorite one. It it absolutely captures what you're going to be getting into with the story overall. But speaking of the story, well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
On to the
line art, yes.
So each story has a different artist actually, which I do appreciate. Is what we wanted to do, but it doesn't, it's not always easy to find separate artists inside one book. So I appreciate this. So for Dogpile, Big Sun 08 did the pencils and the colors.
Yes. And so just like with the cover, again, the interior art or the rest of the line art, interior, I don't know why one keeps saying line art. The rest of the interior art really does match the same vibe, right? Maybe a little less detail, I think, than the cover proper, but that's what you would expect, right? The color tones and everything like that, it works. It's very bright, and it's not overwhelming. There's not ever too much happening on the screen. And I gotta say, I think their stories feel more manga-ish. Well, at least this one, in my opinion, with some of how the characters are drawn.
I thought you were gonna say like some of the surrounding kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it's just like when you see like the kind of stuff coming out, almost like how in the manga with like the sweat drop type stuff.
Yes. You know, the fight scenes didn't have to be extra. You know, you had like the fast, real quick, like boom, punch again. Some familiar kind of thing, like all Dragon Ball stuff like that. You guys read comic books and manga. You know, basically how the manga looks when there's an attack or something, or watch anime. It is great. Absolutely love it. Even when our main character utilizes a certain ability, right? It's not something that's like overwhelming on the screen, right? But it does give you that sense of power behind this ability that he's using that I do appreciate and like. And I also,
of course, he had to use his mangaism in real life where he says a certain something.
Right, a certain event. But I love the fact that we don't get this kind of ambiguous, like he did a thing but they didn't realize it. Like the art conveys like, no, this is a kind of major thing he just did.
Gotcha.
Right? And then everybody around him is just like it's felt, right? Like whether it's, hey, I saw that, or like, yo, what just happened? Right? So yeah, they did a fantastic job with the art on that.
And so we move on to Adasta.
Mm-hmm.
So the art in Adasta was done by Ronaldo Barata. And I like the art. I think it's a nice art style. It works with the story.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much art has worked with stories lately.
Yes.
It just makes me very happy inside. It has that very nice, cute, family-friendly, fun vibe.
If I'm gonna combine two stories that it reminded me of art-wise, I was like Archie and My Little Pony. Like the colors and the simplicity and stuff, but how some of the characters kind of are rounded.
I'm mad because if you read it, you will see it.
You'll see it.
I didn't think about that, but I read Archie growing up, and I watched My Little Pony, and yeah.
So last but not least, we have Snakebite.
The line art is by Moyar, and the colors are by Claude Violette.
Yes, and the tone. The
tone is interesting.
It's interesting.
I'm on the fence about whether the art fits the story or not. It does to a certain extent in moments, and then there's other moments when, like, the way the story was, I could have seen different art working for it. Mm-hmm. However, the art does not, like, insult me or anything.
Right,
it's
the art is great. Yeah.
With good colors, good lighting, nighttime, it's not too dark. I can see, and that I love because I can't see already.
Yeah, a while back we talked about that where there was,
we've talked about it multiple times.
Multiple times.
I think if you don't know, you ain't been watching these videos. So just
there, we talked about how it was very dark and you couldn't really tell what was happening with some of the fight scenes, and there was a lot happening. You're not getting that in this, right? There are moments where it's a bit dark. But again, the artwork still fits. Nothing's too much happening. Yeah,
Alchemist, where it's like it's dark because it's night, but the colors pop and they're bright, so you can still see and it still works. But it doesn't. It still looks like it's nighttime.
Right.
That's how it should be. So it really works, and yeah, I like the art for all of them.
Yeah.
So now we get to move on to story.
Yeah. So again, back to it. 3 different stories. What we do in Dogpile, but we pick up with a gentleman who is kind of down in the dumps, honestly.
Basically, his life kind of took a wrong turn into Albuquerque and has been downtrodden, and now his only family is this group of 7 dogs.
Right, and at first I was like, and I guess it kind of turned out this way. I was like, I thought like Tarzan or something like that, right? Kind of like that relationship and how they're talking and stuff. It was just like, you know what, dadgummit, kind of.
I thought more so just he has 7 pet dogs, and so just
the family aspect, the level of communication.
People's pets are part of their family.
Okay, but they're talking.
Was Butterball not a part of the family?
Yes, but like he's having like legit like
conversations,
English conversations with them. Like maybe it's telepathic.
That's a question I have actually, is because the animals also talk to each other, and it doesn't seem like other humans understand
right.
them. So the question here is,
does he have some
kind of special, is he Dr. Doolittle?
Right, but he also has additional powers on top of that.
Right, which I was not expecting, but I did like to see in the web. But essentially just he's trying to get through life, just average every day, and life ain't fun. Life be lifing.
Yeah. You get that feel, you get that sense, and again, with all of the events that are taking place, I love the fact that they wrote it in a way where it's not like, okay, now what else happened? Like, no, it's like a natural progression of this guy's day, and you're like, man, can it get any worse? And it almost feels as though you're like, dang, I kind of been there, right? Where it's just like nothing went right that day, but how do you deal with that? And I think that's one of the things that I like. He has abilities and stuff.
But it's just life is life.
Life is life.
I happen to have powers.
Right. So, anyway, moving on.
Right. So, Adastra, of course, like I've said several times, is about a girl. It's a high school girl doing life, getting ready for a test, needs to study, didn't study, trying to deal with her parents, dealing with her boyfriend. He's got stuff going on, trying to be there for him and support him. And it really is, again, it's just the average day in the life of a teenager, but she just happens
to be able to
shapeshift. Some power, right? And I often speak on men writing women, and especially, I don't talk about it in particularly as much, but especially teenage girls, because guys didn't go through what teenage girls went through, more so than women in general. And it was very well done.
Very much so.
Good job.
Last but not least, we have Snakebite. Snakebite, what I would like to say is I like the dialogue in this the best in regards to that group of friends, because it wasn't, again, like when we talked about in a previous video with Ray Comics, like the conversations in like Joystick Angels, which it was just like, it's natural, right? I personally remember hanging out with the guys and talking this way, right? We just roasting each other, talking best, like, oh man, we fixed to go da. Like it feels lived, like it feels like a real experience. And everybody had different personalities. Nobody was kind of just like regurgitating things like they were fitting a trope or checking a box or anything like that. I could see this being
almost like it was based off of
exactly.
Part of the story blurb is that he goes, he gets out of jail and he gets some tattoos, and then he finds out that his tattoos have somehow granted him some powers. And that's what the snakes are that you see on the cover.
Yeah. So
it's quite interesting. There's rumors going around the city of this snake charmer or catcher, essentially, that is, taking out knuckleheads like him. Specifically, like
right. So he which is cool, because like he's already been arrested, he's on probation. It's almost as if he's already learned his lesson and is trying to follow a better path, right? And it doesn't seem like any of his friends or any of his family know about anything like that, which the family dynamic again in this, where it's interesting because his parents are not together, and so it's an interesting dynamic with his stepfather and him it's so
the
good.
Dynamics and stuff, it's there.
The relationships,
you see the relationships with his friends. We get to see him go out, and he's I think the only one who doesn't go out and look to help somebody out is actually Adastra. Both the guys are just like, I see trouble, I'm gonna deal with it. Now, the reason he deals with it may not be conventional, but like he says, he ain't no hero.
Right. An absolutely phenomenal job on all three of these stories. Again, there's a theme going, and I'm pretty confident that these might be in the same universe.
I think so, but however, it is stated that these are one-shots. Now, will they stay one-shots? I don't know.
Personally, I would have seen
I'm
more
not
from
Amari.
each of them. Yeah.
But if you're watching this, I hope you continue them.
Yeah. So
but we move on now to pacing, because I'm running.
Oh yeah, honestly, the pacing. We kind of dove into all of that.
Like
the pacing is great.
It works. It's a day in the life.
Yeah. So
for each of these characters, it really is just a day in the life, and they also just happen to
have abilities.
Two of them go looking to help, and one just kind of runs into trouble, but it flows.
So with all that being said, definitely check out.
Let us know if you've read this anthology. I was going to say any of these stories, but if you picked up the book, you should have read all of these stories. Let us know what you thought of it. If you haven't, let us know what if you're going to go pick it up. And of course, make sure to subscribe for weekly story recommendations and like the video so that we can keep on going.
So thank you guys for tuning in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Summer night, it's summer night. She left me so late, should've spent the night. No need to hit follies, I'm working her body out, said she in